any database we use, so it should be accessible to the user easily. So users should not find any problem in accessing the data from a database. Raw materials or any other data pertaining to any manufacturing unit are stored in a computer through database or in the form of database. It is also very important application of database. What is a backup? Backup is nothing but we have to record the day-to-day activities on some other location, that is for the sake of security. Dear students, welcome to Computer Science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram PU College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Students, let us start our session with the new chapter, chapter 13, database concepts. Now, let us see the weightage of the chapter. 1 MCQ and also it has 5 fill in the blanks, 2 marks question 1, 3 marks question 1 and 5 marks question 1. Totally you have 4 questions and total weightage is for 6 marks. So it is an important chapter from examination point of view. Okay, now let us start the session. Now in this chapter, we are going to cover the concepts, introduction to database and database terms, DBMS, what is DBMS, database models, ER models, keys, data warehouse and data mining. These are the different topics to be discussed in the chapter database concepts. Now let us start with a definition of a database. So what is a database? Database is a collection of logically related data organized in a way that data can be easily accessed, managed and updated. So students, nowadays you might be familiar with the word database. Now wherever we go, we have come across the word database in the field of computer science. And you might have come across many examples if you visit in different shops, a medical shop or any provision store, supermarket, wherever you visit, and if you look at the billing counter, everywhere we are using a concept of database or database software. So what is a database? Now we know what is a data. Data is nothing but a raw fact, and we know there are different types of data. So data may be in the form of text, pictures, audio, video, alphabets, alphanumeric characters, any etc. It can be of any form. So all data we are going to store in the form of a database. So database is nothing but a collection of related data. And here in database, we are going to store all the data in the form of table, and table is made up of number of rows and number of columns. And with respect to database, all the data are stored in the form of records. So this is the definition of database. So I repeat once again, database is nothing but a collection of different forms of data, different types of data, and this is the data are stored in the form of database in a table. So table is made up of number of rows and number of columns, and all the data are stored in the form of records. So this is the definition of database. And once the data is stored in the database, and it has to be easily accessed, managed and updated. So any database we use, so it should be accessible to the user easily. So user should not find any problem in accessing the data from a database, and easily managed and updated. So these are all the features of database. So this is a definition of database. Now let us see what are the applications of database, or nowadays which are the different fields we are using database. So first one is banking. Nowadays if you go to any of the bank, it is computerized bank. I mean everything is computerized. So just you can think of a bank around 15-20 years back, and there was no a question of using computers. So nowadays we are using computers in every bank, each and every bank, and we say it is a computerized branch or a bank. So what are the activities in the bank? Normally, it has so many customers, so many account holders, and all the details are stored in a database. And not only that, and all the transactions, all the, we say, operations or operations carried out by any of the account holder or any clients are recorded in the form of database. For example, any account holder, he can withdraw money, he can deposit, and he can do any sort of savings. All the activities are stored in the bank nowadays in computers. So this is a very good example for a database software. So this is one of the application is banking. Second application is water meter billing. Now all of us, we are going to get every month a water bill. So whenever the concerned person, he will come, he will read the meters and readings from the meters, then he will generate a bill. How it is possible? It is possible because of all the data with respect to your customer's details, maybe your name or with RR number or meter number, address, everything are stored in the computer in the form of database. So all the details of a house or any customer or any house person are stored in a computer in the form of database. All the details. So with the help of that concerned person, one who comes for reading your water meter, and he will generate a bill immediately by looking at your RR number or meter number. Another example is, very good example is rail and airlines reservation system. So nowadays, now we are very familiar with that. So we can reserve any ticket, even not only for rail or a train or airlines, even for a bus system also. So you can, in India, you can sit anywhere, any corner of the India, and you can book a ticket or you can reserve a ticket. That is possible because all the data, for example, about a train or about airlines or about a bus, everything stored in a computer in a database. So these are the data. So for example, if you talk about bus system, if you have a bus reservation, the detail of a bus, whether what the type of bus and what is the category of, whether AC, non-AC, sleeper, whatever it is, everything is, all the data are stored, and what is the arrival time, departure time, everything with respect to all these are stored in a computer in the form of a database, and through that it is possible for everyone to reserve a ticket from any part of the India. So this is an example for your database application. And one more application is credit card transaction, or it can be credit card or debit card transaction. So all of us, we are using credit or debit cards for any transactions or for shopping or purchasing any type of items. So all the transactions are recorded in the form of database. This is another applications of database. Next application is telecommunication. If we talk about telecommunication, now all the call records with respect to whether you use a landline or mobile system, all the call records, whether it is outgoing call or incoming call, and the duration of the call are stored in a database. So that is another example for a database. And not only that, if you look at the telecommunication, if a very good example is, if you have any landline, broadband connection of internet, so all your communication will be recorded in the particular telephone exchange, and they are going to store all the call records in a computer through database. This is another application. Next one, in the field of finance, and in the field of sales or marketing, and in the field of manufacturing. So what is the meaning of manufacturing? Suppose in any manufacturing unit, it is necessary for them to store the inventory, or is necessary for them to store the details of raw materials. So all these data, raw materials or any other data pertaining to any manufacturing unit are stored in a computer through database or in the form of database. It is also very important application of database. Next one is human resources. This is or what to say HRD, human resource department. So in any organization or any company, they have a department called human resource department. So their responsibility is for recruitment number of employees to any of the or to their respective organization. So those HRD department, they are going to maintain details of all the employees. If I say it is from name or employee ID and so on with respect to your address and your salary, any benefits, perks, everything they are going to store in a database. So that is a very good applications of database. So I think nowadays we are familiar with all these applications where we are using database. So these are the different applications of database. Now let us move on to next slide. And here, next concept is evolution of database. Means how the database has been evolved. Actually, now let us talk about the data processing system because computer is a data processing unit. And nowadays, as we have discussed in previous slide, it is computerized. Nowadays, everything is computerized. And if you take an example of 15 years back, when there were no computers in use in any of the institution or organization, and how the people during those days to maintain the records, or how do they process the data without computer. So that is we termed as a manual data processing. Actually, nowadays we use computerized data processing or electronic data processing, but earlier to the era of computers or before the rapid development in the field of science and technology, everything was manual. Means all operations or all the data processing is taken care of by human beings or it is manual. Now, because in the improvement or development in the field of science and technology, now everything is computerized. So earlier it was manual data processing. Nowadays it is computerized or electronic data processing. Now let us see the difference between these two types of database or these two types of data processing. First one is manual data processing and computerized electronic data processing. Now, in manual data processing, the first point is the volume of the data which can be processed is limited in a desirable time. So this is an example where everything used to be carried out by human beings and the volume of data which can be processed can be very large. The meaning here is because all the operations were carried out by human beings, as we are human beings, we have our own limitations. So we are not free from tiredness. So because of that, when we do any work for a long time, we do feel tiredness and we require a sort of rest or relaxation. Then after some time, we start do our work. But because of that reason, the human being, the volume of data, means the volume of data to be processed or they used to process, it is limited. It depends on the capacity of human beings. But if you look at computerized, because computer is a machine, so as what you have learned, it is free from tiredness and we are using computer for different types of works. So accordingly, so based on that, so computer can process large data or large volume of data. That is one of the difference. Next one is manual data processing requires large quantity of paper. Yes, see that is what I had told you just now. When 15 years back or 20 years back, if you take an example, everything was recorded on the paper. Very good example even I can give you is a banking. In the field of banking, all the records, all the data or transaction they used to record over a ledger. So ledger is nothing but they used to maintain a large book that is called a ledger. Even the passbook entries, if you remember this, it was through manual. So that is everything was the paper, means everything was on the paper, meaning the storage media, we can say that it is on the paper. Now with respect to computerized, here the less amount of paper is used. Nowadays we are avoiding using papers. We say nowadays we are using the word paperless office, and that is one of the plus point of this computerized data processing. Next one is the speed and accuracy at which the job is limited. So here the speed and accuracy, it was through manual or human beings, so it depends on their capacity, the speed and accuracy. So the speed, I mean the any types of work be executed by human beings is less as compared to a machine. That is the one thing. And accuracy, as we are human beings, there are chances of committing a small mistakes. So we cannot expect 100% efficiency through manual data processing. So that can be, so this point can be overcome with the computerized or electronic data processing system. And computer is faster and accurate, and always computer is being a machine, it gives or generates a right answer. If at all any problem or any error in the result, that is the error not because of computer, that is the problem with the programs or instructions that is given by human beings. See, this is the limitation of this. Next one is labor cost is high, because this is what you have seen nowadays is, you might be familiar with this, and here is economical. The meaning is that a computer is being a machine. So nowadays we are hearing this a news that it replaces so many employees. So one computer can replace 3 employees, or one computer can replace 5 employees, depending on the nature of work. So in that way, so this is economical, and it is labor cost is high. And storage medium is paper in manual. As I told you just now, everything, all the records were on papers. And here nowadays, with the computerized electronic processing, now we are storing all this information or data through database through a computer's memory or secondary memory devices, like in the form of hard disk, CD, DVD, flash drive, USB drive, so on. So that is the storage medium in computerized data processing. Next one is maintaining backup is difficult. So what is a backup? Backup is nothing but we have to record the day-to-day activities on some other location, that is for the sake of security. For example, if you might have come across, you take an example, any data written on paper, or for example, you take your notes. If you keep it for a long time, so what would be the result of this? And as it is on the paper, and the whatever you have written through a pencil or a pen, whatever it is, it won't be there for long time. It will be faded away, or it will be erased as and when the time. So, but this, with respect to computers or computer data processing, maintaining backup is easy. And again, what is the meaning of backup? This is the day-to-day activities of any organization. It has to be recorded or stored on some other location through secondary memory devices for the sake of security. So this is the another advantage of computerized data processing, or this is the meaning of evolution of database from manual to computerized electronic data processing. Students, now in this session, we have learned the definition of database, application of database, and the main differences between manual as well as electronic data processing. Now, let us continue our discussion in my next session. Thank you so much.